When there's 1 second left on the clock, metaphorically, when it's fourth and long and you've only got one play left, so to speak, when your name is Merlin, you're one of the most powerful wizards that has ever lived, you're facing an army of evil warriors, then the only question left is, are you ready for some football? Hi, I'm Dan Larson, and this is the history of King Arthur and the Knights of Justice. King Arthur and the Knights of Justice is a 26-episode animated series that originally ran for 2 seasons in the United States from September of 1992 to December of 1993. If you've ever mused about professional sports as a metaphor for war and also lamented about how much cooler Camelot would have been if it were created in the 1990s instead of the 1190s, then this is the show for you. King Arthur and all 11 Knights of the Round Table have been imprisoned in the Cave of Glass by longtime nemesis Morgana. It is the darkest hour as Camelot is besieged by Lord Viper and his evil warlords. Merlin does his best to protect the castle, but he's getting old and his magic isn't quite what it used to be. During the fight, Warlord Blackwing flies into the castle's airspace and captures Queen Guinevere. She, the last piece of Morgana's plan to give the citizens of Camelot no choice but to turn to her for leadership and protection from Morgana and her warlords. As Merlin retreats to the Round Table room, lamenting his certain defeat, the Lady of the Lake magically appears to him and uses their final timeout. They huddle up so Milady can draw up a play that must win. Merlin will use his magic to search throughout time for substitute protectors, a new team of knights that can fight against the forces of darkness. With an infinite timeline to choose from, Merlin settles on an American football team from the 1990s called the New York Knights, with a star quarterback who just happens to be named Arthur King. After their latest big win, the team bus is transported through Merlin's magical portal into the past. The players wake up in the Round Table room where they are given period-appropriate clothing, magical armor and weapons, and the ability to ride horses and conduct siege warfare. Their 90s attitudes still safely, extremely intact. For now, they're playing both offense and defense, assisted by the visionary properties of their armor and weapons. Each knight has a symbol on their chest that can summon a weapon: the sword Excalibur for Arthur, a brick wall for Sir Brick. Each knight has a shield with a symbol that can summon a creature like a dragon for Arthur, and a black panther for Sir Phil. To free King Arthur and the original Knights of the Round Table, the new King Arthur and his Knights of the Gridiron must seek out the 12 keys of truth. Only with all 12 keys can they unlock the Cave of Glass and go back to the future. King Arthur and the Knights of Justice was created and written by Jean Chalopin, whose works have been featured in Toy Galaxy videos like Ulysses 31, Jason the Wheeled Warriors, and The Bots Master. Chalopin's production company Créativité et Développement, C&D for short, partnered with Bobot Entertainment and Golden Films. Chalopin served as an executive producer along with Diane Eskenzi, Alan Bobot, and Avi Arad. Avi Arad, who would also be chairman and CEO of Toy Biz and later founder of Marvel Studios. The cast featured voice actors like Andrew Cavadis as Arthur King, Jim Burns as Merlin, Michael Donovan as Sir Darren, Sir Lug, and at least 2 other characters, Scott McNeil as Sir Lancelot, Sir Tone, Sir Trunk, and at least 2 other characters, and Gary Chalk, who had previously voiced He-Man on The New Adventures of He-Man as Sir Brick, Sir Phil, Lord Viper, and Warlord Bash. Out of nearly 30 core characters, half of them were voiced by these 5 actors.
Behold, King Arthur and his courageous Knights of Justice battle against Lord Viper and his evil warlords to protect Camelot. Thus, the quest of King Arthur and the Knights of Justice begins.
King Arthur and the Knights of Justice, one of the amazing adventures to watch this weekend.
King Arthur, this morning at 10 on Channel 11.
Look, this is a story with a lot of characters. 12 football players for 12 Knights of the Round Table. You gotta have Merlin, Morgana, Lord Viper, a host of bad guys for the 12 Knights to tangle with. How else are you going to tell the story of King Arthur? This is a centuries-old tale. It's a legend that's been around since medieval times that's probably, mostly, based on the guy who defended Britain from the invading Saxons. We're talking 5th or 6th century. Hard to know which details of the story are really true and which are invented for narrative drama. The story is periodically updated to meet the sensibilities of the era in which the story is being adapted, each generation contributing a new element to the legend. Key elements survive from generation to generation, building, improving on that timeless tale of a heroic destiny. His name is Arthur. He becomes king by divine right after he pulls the magical sword Excalibur from a stone, but also gets one from the Lady of the Lake. So, 2 swords, both named Excalibur, like Excalibur and Nextcalibur. He's got a partner named Merlin, who is a wizard that Arthur can call on for assistance, like Commissioner Gordon calling Batman. Arthur's wife is Guinevere, his best friend is Lancelot, and those two have feelings for each other, and it's a whole complicated thing with the 3 of them. Arthur establishes the Justice League of Camelot, aka the Knights of the Round Table. Perfect for spin-offs or ensemble casts. It's like Arthur's 12. It's great for stories where you want to kill off a lot of characters before the heroes finally save the day. And then what will surely prove to be a lasting addition to the legend, our modern contribution to the ages, time-traveling American rules football players as substitute magical knights, rapping, chillin', totally radically being extreme. It's too good to fail. King Arthur and the Knights of Justice was licensed for a line of action figures. Mattel planned a very light Wave 1, certainly still feeling the sting from 1990's The New Adventures of He-Man. New Adventures of He-Man, Mattel's previous collaboration with Shalopon, wasn't a total bust, but it did leave a lot of toys on the shelves and ultimately in the clearance bins. Wave 1 featured King Arthur, Sir Lancelot, Sir Darren, Warlord Viper, and Warlord Slasher. Learning from the mistakes made with the New Adventures of He-Man, Mattel returned to the familiar body and articulation style of the original Masters of the Universe line from the 80s. King Arthur figures, vehicles, and playsets blend perfectly with original Masters of the Universe figures in size, style, and action features. That includes the 2 vehicles, Arthur's Horse Valor and the Boulder Basher, a spiritual revisit of the Masters of the Universe Bashosaurus. Unfortunately, the one playset that was planned was never released. As seen in episode 11, Darren's Key, the slime pit was shown on the back of the figure blister cards, but never made it to shelves. Except that it did in 1986. It is literally the exact same slime pit Mattel had released just a few years earlier. If you already had a Masters of the Universe slime pit, you already had a King Arthur and the Knights of Justice slime pit. The Knights of Justice were supported by various standard licensed merchandise, sticker books, lunchboxes, party favors, puzzles. Marvel Comics produced a 3-issue miniseries with cover images that connected to form one giant triptych. Written by Mike Lackey and illustrated by Michael Golden, the first issue was released in December of 1993. The third and final book shipped 3 months later in February of 1994. In May of 1995, Enix released King Arthur and the Knights of Justice for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. The plot is the same as the cartoon, played through the lens of games like The Legend of Zelda. It took 2 years to develop the game, and honestly, even if it was a well-received game, by the time it was actually playable, the show was no longer on the air. It's a scrolling, fighting, puzzle-solving game with adequate graphics, but the most important element it brings to the series is narrative closure. The Knights were on their way to collecting all 12 keys when the series ended without returning the Knights to the future. If you complete the game, defeating Morgana in her final dragon form, you're rewarded with the last key of truth. You free the original King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table, and the New York Knights are returned to their rightful place in the timeline. Good old 1993. The Knights of Justice came home on DVD in 2010 with a box set featuring the entire 26-episode series thanks to Image Entertainment. You can watch poorly uploaded versions here on YouTube or stream it all on Amazon Prime. 2 seasons of 13 episodes each is better than 1 season of 13 episodes. It wasn't enough to complete the mission, which was an indication of either the production's extreme confidence in getting a 3rd season or their incredible short-sightedness. King Arthur and the Knights of Justice isn't getting a remake or a reboot, but it did leave a 2-part legacy that we can all try to take with us every day of our lives. 1, a pretty rockin' theme song from Shuki Levy sure to raise your spirits, powering you in the fight for righteousness. And 2, the pledge that every knight spoke as they suited up to fight for justice. We are the Knights of Justice. We pledge fairness to all, to defend the weak and vanquish evil. Thanks for watching. Please hit like, hit subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Thank you very much to those of you who already are. If you're in the position to help the channel grow, please visit our Patreon or become a YouTube channel member. Please share this video and let us know in the comments down below how far back into olden times you'd travel to fight for justice and fairness and vanquishing evil. 1993? 1193? Would you go all the way back to the beginning of time and just tell everyone, hey, be cool? I mean it. Because that's what we really need.
Cut.